This is Wanda from Fairly OddParents, and this is Pixel Pinky, a literal carbon copy of Wanda. This show was released in 2009 from Australia, and literally has a 1.4 rating on IMDb, but that's just a rating. So let's find out just how bad this ripoff really is. The first ever episode is called Meeting Pixel Pinky. The episode starts off with the main character, Nina, and the most basic plot line ever of a girl coming to a new city where she doesn't know anybody. And so we see her and her family driving down the street, and I guess her dad is some stoner looking dude, and he's got chickens on top of his car. So I guess her family's gonna be a conflict for her trying to be normal and fit in, and it seems like this too when she says,
"Dad, you're gonna freak out the neighbors."
And they even pull up on some kids, and the mom introduces Nina to them, which is embarrassing, I won't lie. So then we cut to the school, and we see the terrifying hallway with kids everywhere, and instantly get introduced to the popular girls, and they are already insulting her looks, which is very typical. Nothing yet about this show seems original or different. I know I'm judging it too fast, I'm sorry. So then we meet the main popular girl of the show, Susie. And this girl just takes a photo of Nina and asks her for her phone number. But to our surprise, Nina doesn't have a phone. So Susie is like,
"Ew, gross. Imagine being broke."
And bro, how much do you want to bet the conflict of this episode is going to be about Nina trying to get a phone to fit in and getting the best phone ever because of Pixel Pinky? I'm calling it right now. Then we meet the soon-to-be best friend who comes in all nice.
"I see you met Susie and her gang. They're just trying to make you feel small."
And this character is Annie. But then Annie kind of messes up and tells Nina that everyone here has a phone, and then shows her a boy on the screen. And this makes her want to buy a phone even more. So Nina goes to the phone store and throws some gold coins on the desk, and the clerk gets her a moldy looking box with a phone, which I bet is gonna suck and she's gonna get made fun of for it. Anyways, then they head to the juice bar, where I guess is where only the popular people hang out, so they will be going there later, I guess, when Nina gets her phone already. So they get home, and after powering on her phone, here comes Pixel Pinky coming out of it. And oh boy, I mean, I definitely didn't guess this would happen, but that's because what a dumb way to introduce his character. Like, at least Wanda has lore. Like, there's a whole fairy world, and fairies are assigned to broken kids to help them. But here, this girl just bought a phone to fit in, and now her fairy is here. I don't know, maybe she's gonna explain why it's cool, but I doubt it. Now, for some weird reason, Nina isn't surprised at all that a fairy genie pink lady that's literally flying is coming out of her phone, but instead thinks it's a help lady. And here's where I kind of understand what's going on. Pixel Pinky is supposed to kind of represent Siri, and I understand what they're trying to do, but no, no. Anyways, Nina asks how to get music on the phone, and Pixel Pinky makes some object in her room into a stereo, which isn't even what she asked for. Then her dad walks in, and Pixel Pinky has to hide, which is identical to Fairly OddParents, but more lame. At least they become like fish to blend in. Pixel Pinky just vanishes into the phone. Also, the dad character is so weird. Not a huge fan of him, to be honest. I think he's supposed to be embarrassing to create a conflict onto Nina for not being liked because of him, but he's not even that funny or embarrassing. He's just extremely chill and weird. I don't know. But anyways, next day at school, the teacher is snoring, and Pixel Pinky makes the phone ring, so the teacher thinks the class is over. And the mean dude from earlier praises her. And of course, Susie is like,
"Oh my god, you got a phone, you're so cool. Come to the juice bar later, okay?"
Which is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So they get back home and Nina calls back Pixel Pinky, and she already seems unsufferable, getting mad at Nina for not calling her back sooner. And now Nina finds out that Pixel Pinky is a genie, and she can wish for whatever she wants. But Pixel Pinky says she has some rules and pulls out a book. And bro, I just gotta say 2 words, the rules. Like, come on. And so Nina, finding out she can wish for whatever, wishes for some cool clothes to impress popular Susie. And then Nina gets the most basic looking white dress, but I guess she does look kind of cool now. But Annie, on the other hand, doesn't really care to fit in and doesn't want cool clothes. But then Pixel Pinky ignores her and gives her these big ol' hideous shoes. But Annie loves them, I guess. So then Pixel Pinky teleports them to the juice bar, and we get this awful transition and they slam into a dumpster, which I'm pretty sure was supposed to be funny. And honestly, this is like the second joke it tried in this show, and they definitely aren't hitting. The first one was when Nina was like,
"We will be back here later, L8TER.
Trying to show that she understands text language now, and these both are just not that great. Anyways, Nina and Annie walk into the juice bar, and lo and behold, Susie's wearing the exact same outfit as Nina. And Susie is obviously mad about this. And Susie and Annie leave to go get a milkshake, which they were lying, by the way. And instead they're going home. And while walking, they run into Pixel Pinky again. And Nina says she wants to be popular and have a bunch of friends, but she doesn't actually wish for this. But Pixel Pinky, once again, just cast a spell on Nina without her consent. And as they walk into a park, all the animals are following Nina. And Nina gets mad about this because she wanted to be popular with humans and wanted some real friends, which I think I actually know what's going to be the lesson of this episode. Nina's gonna realize being popular is overrated, and she has a great friend, Annie. I know I was wrong before, but $5 I'm right about this. Anyways, Pixel Pinky, once again being an awful character, gets mad at Nina, saying she was only trying to help. So then Annie and Nina go back to the phone store and try to ask what's going on to the clerk, and finds out there's no returns. Also turns out the magic wears off after a while, so the clothes are gone and the animals aren't following her anymore. We also get a moment where Nina says how much she's really glad she met Annie. And she says at least one wish came true.
One where I wish for a friend.
So I was right. Then also, I guess Popular Boy's dog followed Nina, so they bring the dog back to him. And Nina starts blushing, which I bet is gonna be another episode where she tries stealing Susie's boy. And so the episode ends with Nina realizing she doesn't need to be popular and is happy she has Annie as a friend, and I guess becomes friends with Pixel Pinky, who has done her wrong in the entire episode. And then Pixel Pinky makes her room into a dance party and the episode ends. So yeah, this is 100% a carbon copy of Fairly Odd Parents, without any heart or soul in it whatsoever. This has to be one of the most generic plots I've ever watched. New girl in a new city wants to be popular. A popular girl is mean, so they want to impress them, and then realize the nerdy girl was the only friend they actually needed. And not only is the plot so utterly basic, they just straight up copied the idea of Fairly Odd Parents and made it 100% worse. I mean, at least Cosmo wanted to have some personality and actually try to make Timmy happy, and he's the one screwing things up. Here, Pixel Pinky is creating unwanted conflict because this show lacks an actual conflict. I mean, the only conflict in this episode is that a girl isn't popular on her first day of school and doesn't have a phone. I mean, who's gonna be invested in this? Not me. I mean, there are episodes of Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy genuinely almost dies. So far, the show is not looking too great, but it is the pilot, so I'll give it a break. So now let's watch the very last episode to see if they learned anything after 2 seasons of writing the show. The last episode is called The Final Countdown. So the episode starts with Nina eating some nasty cereal, and she's complaining about it. And Pixel Pinky is still just making wishes without consent, and makes Nina some orange juice, and then transforms her food into some pancakes. Nina is happy about it though, so it's okay. But one interesting thing about this is how Nina and Pink Pixie have zero chemistry. By this time, they have gone through 2 seasons of being with each other, and it's just so awkward and uncomfortable. Anyways, we cut to Nina looking for something, about to be late, and Pixel Pinky just zaps some shoes that I guess she was looking for. But once again, Nina did not give her consent on this wish. And seriously, I don't want to bore you even more, but this exact scenario happens once again with her toothbrush. And then finally, after the most boring intro of literally nothing, we get the conflict. You only get a limited amount of wishes, and a sign went off on her phone, which means she only has 19 wishes left. And boy, would I be so mad about this because of the fact Pixel Pinky just be casting wishes left and right randomly without her consent. It's like Pixel Pinky trying to get rid of her. But anyways, after hearing this, I realized the point of the introduction. The introduction was to show how much Nina relies on Pixel and how she doesn't know what she would do without her. And this intro failed so bad at showing that. There was no deep emotional connection here to make me feel bad that she's about to lose Pixie. And the wishes as well were so silly. I mean, she got some food, then got her shoes she could have easily looked for, and then she got a literal new toothbrush. And like, dude, that's like $1. Imagine losing a wish that you could use to get $1 million, get a mansion, become fluent in any language for $1 toothbrush. That's actually wild. I know I only watched 2 episodes, so please correct me if you know, but I doubt she has ever wished for something cool or actually worthwhile. Anyways, now Nina learns that she's about to lose Pinky and has one of the most touching scenes in cinematic history. I'm obviously joking. Girl doesn't crack a tear or any emotion. She's just like,
What? That can't be.
and I'm not lying, I'll actually play the clip.
But that can't be.
Anyways, Nina teams up with Annie, and they come up with an idea. If they don't wish for anything, Pixie can stay forever. And so that's the conflict for the entire episode. Nina's not gonna wish for anything to save Pixel Pinky. Sounds exhilarating. I'm on the edge of my seat, what's gonna happen? Oh my. So we cut to them in school, and they're running to their class while the bell rings. And Nina goes,
I wish that bell wasn't so loud.
and oh snap, she lost a wish. Oh no, it's scary. Then she instantly wishes for a pizza in the next scene. And this just feels so forced so far. There's no storyline. They just place these 2 things for no reason. The world in this show has no life to it at all. I'm not invested in the world or the characters at all, and that's not great. Not even the main 3 characters have any chemistry at all. Anyways, they come up with a new plan for Nina not to wish anymore, and it's a brilliant plan. Think before you speak. Bro, I can't. But yeah, so she closes her mouth, and instantly a second later starts saying, I wish, until Annie swoops in and saves her from making a wish. So now they are in the last class of the day, and the teacher says they're gonna be singing the wishing song. And bro, what is happening? I know this is supposed to be funny, but they are forcing Wish to be such a serious episode. And yeah, so the song consists of I wish, blah, 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 I wish, blah, blah, blah. And so Nina at first just doesn't sing it until Susie tattles on Nina for lip syncing and gets forced to sing in the front for a solo, which honestly is pretty funny, I guess. And so she keeps wishing for things in the song, and the things she's saying keep happening. And for some reason, no one in the class is freaking out this is happening, but now she is down to 2 wishes, and she makes her second wish for the song to end. And now she's doing her last wish in the matter of like 5 seconds. I do think the wish song was kind of funny and like generic kid humor, but just wiping all of her wishes with one song was kind of lame. Then Pixel Pinky forces Nina to make her last wish. And so Nina says she'll give her last wish to Pixel Pinky, which is probably the cutest and most realistic moment I've seen so far. And so Pixel Pinky wishes for them to see her world. So maybe there is some lore to Pinky. I'm kind of excited. I hope it's not lame. So they get to her world, and so far I'm disappointed. It looks like space with a road and some weird mushroom plant things. And the first thing these kids point out is a vending machine, like they aren't in space. What? And they spend like a whole minute talking about the vending machine. And then turns out Nina and Annie can just fly. And just like the whole episode, this is rushed. They just start flying like pros instantly. And we get a tour of this world. We get to see their bowling area, a smoothie place, a school, and then finally, we get to see her house. And also Nina and Annie crash, which is generic slapstick humor. And I can't keep boring you, but Pinky just keeps showing them extremely useless stuff. And then we get to see what we've been waiting for this entire episode. A touching, sentimental, sad, upsetting goodbye. And of course the goodbye blows. Nina and Annie just start talking really fast, saying nothing deep. Just thank you, I'll miss you. That's it. And just like before, not a single teardrop. This woman has been in their life for a whole 2 seasons, and that's what we get. Then instead of having a touching goodbye, Pinky doesn't want them to see her cry. So they just change the entire subject and start freaking out about how they're gonna get back home. And Pixel's literally like, I don't know, let's go flying together. So they go flying together, and then boom, Nina and Annie go back to their house and hit a wall. And that's the end of the episode. And man, I don't want to be all mean and seem like a bandwagon because the show has a bad rating, but wow, this show is nothing. Like literally nothing. I did not gain a single thing from watching the show. The entire episode seemed forced and rushed. So I wanted to figure out why it got canceled real quick. And it was because of criticism of its unoriginality and dual storytelling, which honestly makes total sense. And it's sad that in their last hurrah and their last attempt to prove themselves, they made the most unoriginal and dull episode. I mean, there wasn't even a touch of emotion throughout this episode. None of the last wishes were meaningful, they were all forced, and we flew through all of them like hotcakes. The only wish and the only part of this episode that was somewhat good was that Nina gave Pixel Pinky her last wish. That was decent. Then they really could have made Pixel Pinky's world original. That was their one chance to prove they can make a cool new world, and they just made the most basic place I've ever seen. I mean, a space-like place with vending machines and floating rocks to basic places like a bowling alley, a juice bar, and a basic looking school. I mean, they really didn't try. I'm not sure how this show got greenlit to be made, and they seriously took the most generic basic ideas and didn't even expand on them at all. The characters have no emotions, especially Annie. She is so incredibly boring. She has the most monotone voice and tries to be the voice of reason, but she just comes off as a boring buzzkill. There is not one character in this universe that is interesting, not even the dad, who, to be honest, is probably the most original character. I mean, everyone else is basic. You got the popular girl, her 2 friends who idolize her, the popular girl's basic boyfriend, the nerdy best friend. Then you got the weird stoner dad who could have been such a fun character, but he's also just boring. This show is pretty bad, and I could sit here and yap and talk about it forever, so there isn't much I gotta say. This show is sad. They copied Fairly OddParents and didn't even try to hide it. Then they just add the most generic basic plot lines. This show deserves its rating of a 1.4, but I don't know. Actually, I do know. This show wasn't that great. For once, I don't know. I do know. This show wasn't that great. Yeah, I'm talking about, Fairly OddParents Ripoff, this show, Pixel Pinky, it wasn't that great.